Welcome back to I'm Being Seriously.
Hello.
You're not gonna sing?
I'm being seriously. I'm being seriously.
Your go-to was what was your go-to? It's like a Michael McDonald. I think it was like I'm being seriously.
You gotta sing it like Anita.
I can't sing like Anita.
Anita is like Michael McDonald.
Anita Maxwin.
Anita Maxwin.
So I had this question that really set you off.
Oh
Literally
no!
like 5 minutes ago. And
McDonald's.
I said, what do you think about the fast food workers getting $20? And you're like, I'm for it. I'm all for it. And then like shortly you just kept like talking amongst yourself. And then you're like,
I mulled it over.
yeah. And then I was like, you sound like you want to say a but now. And you were like, but what was your but? What do you think?
I'm just bitter.
Why are you for it?
Well,
why were you for it at first?
I'm split because I'm for it because, yeah, like things are too expensive. Like if you're making under $20 an hour, you can't even afford to survive.
Yeah.
You'd have to live with like 3 roommates.
People. Yeah.
On top of you. So like 4 people living in a place in LA. Like I'm for it because everything is too expensive and people need to survive, obviously. But, you know, we're in our 30s, so when we first started working, minimum wage was $7.25. You know how fucking annoying that is?
People used to brag and be like, I'm making $9.
I don't know. They'd be like, yeah, he's making 10 at his new job. Like $10? Fuck, that's crazy. I think I would like I don't know what I would do if that's how much money I was making. So I'm just like torn because I think, yeah, people should be able to survive. But at the same time, like you and I both know we both worked fast food as our first jobs. Mm-hmm. I worked a few fast food jobs. And like if I wanted to make more money, I couldn't just stick around until they gave me more money.
Right.
I had to actually work
at McDonald's,
to make a better living.
What's a joke? At McDonald's, when I was working there, I think I was like 19 or 20. Mm-hmm. They would give you increases every like 3 to 6 months or something like that.
What was it?
10 cents.
Oh my God.
It was 10 cents.
10 cents. Who you have 10 cents?
Like what? That's so
insulting.
Wild. Yeah. I mean, I was there less than a year, but I was almost there. Like I was like there 9 months. So
you got 10 cents?
I got 10
You almost
cents.
got 20 cents.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's terrible.
Yeah. I think it also depends on like the McDonald's franchise.
Yeah.
You know, like who owns it and stuff. I think that's it. I'm not sure if that's like a corporate thing. I
got a 25-cent increase at Pizza Hut, and I was like, woo! Like that's an extra eighth of weed. It wasn't. It was nothing. What even is that? 40 times 25 cents? Like, come on.
So sad.
80 because you're working, getting paid bi-weekly. Yeah, so I'm like, I think they don't deserve it, and they do.
Mm-hmm. What I'm hoping happens, I'm a little in between. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but I hope what happens is people just stop buying fast food because it's expensive already, and the price, because the minimum wage is going up, they're saying that the prices are going to go up, which they have already. And it's like, okay, then what's the point of even getting fast food? I
think the last time you and I went to get McDonald's, I think it was like almost $40
to actually eat.
Yeah, like we just got like nuggets and fries and like a drink.
Yeah.
And I think we got like a scoop of ice cream or something, and it was almost $40.
Yeah.
We could have ate like a bomb ass spot for $40. Yeah. Barely.
Not saying that.
We could have got Vietnamese food.
It was pretty good.
What, the McDonald's?
Yeah.
I mean, it was good, but it wasn't $40 worth, you know?
Nuggets. Yeah, definitely McDonald's. I would be like $20.
You used to be able to get 20-piece nuggets for $5.
It's 10.
Now it's 10.
No, it was 10.
No, it was $5 at one point. It
was 20 for 10.
It was 20 for 5 for a long time.
I don't remember the prices, but I remember the McChicken.
Oh, the McChicken was $1.
Yeah.
It used to be two for what was it, 2 for $3 or something like that?
I don't remember.
I don't know. It was, I used to eat that a lot back in the day. A McChicken and a McDouble.
Me too.
I was getting
I
McChicken and
I
a
used to
McDouble.
eat the mixed snack wrap.
Oh, the mixed snack wrap was some of the ranch in it.
Yeah. Or are they not called mixed snack wraps?
The mixed snack?
Called snack wraps.
McWrap? I don't know what they're called. I don't even know if they have them anymore. I don't even think they do.
They were supposed to bring them back some places in the U.S.
Rest in peace to the wrap.
Yeah.
The last time.
The wrap never hurt nobody.
The wrap never hurt nobody. The wraps are some of the best menu items at fast food, like the Twister at KFC. Rest in peace. That was delicious. The Twister.
I really like the popcorn chicken at KFC.
The popcorn chicken?
Yeah.
It's shrimp.
Remember that?
It's shrimp.
No.
Just kidding.
Popcorn chicken.
That's
you
like
just eat it as like a kid.
I never
but it was
got
too
the popcorn
expensive,
chicken.
so I only got that as a treat once in a while.
I was a fat kid. I didn't eat the popcorn chicken. I ate the big chickens.
Well, they would do bigger sizes of popcorn chicken. It was like in a little popcorn container.
Like a little container, yeah.
And you'd
remember.
Just pop in them.
Like,
yeah, like popcorn.
I would eat it with barbecue sauce.
I really like that.
Yeah, I know. I know you did.
So you're hating on the $20.
Well, I just think like, okay, if they're gonna pay fast food workers $20, like if kids out of high school, even kids in high school, right? So like anyone getting their first job, they're gonna get $20 an hour, then they should raise the wages of every other job then.
Right. I agree.
Across the board then.
It's kind of a slap in the face to all of us. We're just talking about how millennials always get the shit out of the stick.
Yeah, and like kids get the easier fucking version of it, and it's like the older generation already reaped their fucking rewards, you know? Like we're 32 years old. We had to work. Like we just said, we were making $7.25 when we first started working. We've had to work since we were 18 to even make fucking $30+, you know? Like that's fucked up.
It is.
And now kids are gonna be making $20 and just chilling at a fast food job. And then adults who should be actually working their ass off are going to be like, I could just work at a fast food joint.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not saying like fast food work is no work. I'm not going to say it's not work. Yeah. It is work, but it's like
like the kitchen people. I remember them. They were hard workers.
Of course. Kitchen people are always going to be hard workers. You're doing like most of the work, right? When you're in the kitchen. And people who deal with people, you know, that's also hard work.
The thing that I'm concerned about also is I don't want people to make it like, well, you're not even a citizen. You're getting paid that, you know, like people like to do that.
Oh, yeah. People are going to be talking shit. Well, I mean, how many immigrants are working at McDonald's?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like they're working under the table jobs, but yeah, I guess they're working at McDonald's too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I guess you're right. When I worked fast food spots, we did have like guys in the kitchen that were... They will only speak Spanish, yeah.
Well, I mean, just because you only speak Spanish doesn't mean you're undocumented.
No, these guys are undocumented.
You're just assuming that.
No, they were. No, they were. They're illegal.
I know people make it about that. Well, you know, they're undocumented or...
That's so annoying.
They say worse things, obviously, but...
Like, what type of person cares about that shit?
Which is like,
what do they do?
Which is like, some of these people do need a living to make, you know, so they do deserve the $20.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I'm saying. Like, people deserve to live and survive because there are adults that work fast food joints, but it's like, if you're an immigrant, that makes sense. Like, your options are limited because of your, you know, your citizen status. But if you're a fucking American citizen and you're over here, like, you're still working entry-level jobs, like, you should probably try not to work an entry-level job anymore.
Yeah. You always say that. Because
it pisses me off because, like, you could get stuck in an entry-level loop.
True. And the only jobs you keep getting are entry-level.
And you're never going to get ahead. And, like, I got stuck in an entry-level loop for, like, my early 20s. Like, that's... And I got some opportunities where I was, like, you know, fortunate enough to be offered a better job. You know, like, I was a school bus driver. I had to do things, though, like, I had do 6 months while I was working at Domino's, like, to learn that shit unpaid. So I would go take lessons to learn from the LA Unified, like, to drive the school bus, and then I had to take tests and then pay for the tests and shit out of my own pocket.
That's so annoying. LAUSD is stupid.
LAUSD does suck, but they at the time they paid really well. It was like the most money
Yeah,
I'd made. I was only like 20 years old,
it was a
21 years
hot
old.
job.
Yeah, it was a good job. I was like one of the youngest people there though, because like I was like bust my ass to do it. So it's like you could get stuck in an entry level loop. And I know people our age still who are working entry level jobs because
Mm.
they don't want to like work on their resume.
Yes, that is true. There is a loop of entry level, and I feel like I've experienced that too. And I feel like even if I were to leave this job, I depending on like, I mean, I feel like I could fix people's resumes, but I can't for some reason fix my own. I don't know why.
I don't know why either. It's actually
It's
weird.
kind of annoying.
It's kind of annoying.
I should really
It's
charge
ironic.
people to fix their
Just charge
resumes.
yourself, fix it.
Um, yeah. So I feel like even if I were to leave this job, like it's possible I might even start off entry level too. Although I would try my best not to.
Why would you start entry level? You have a college degree.
I don't know because there's for everything you need fucking 8 years of experience. So that's another fucking loophole that's annoying.
I feel like everything is like referral based now.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta know people.
Yeah.
You gotta know people, right?
Yeah, you have to know
It's
somebody.
benefited you. It's benefited a lot of people just to know
Yeah.
people.
You have to know someone usually now to get a decent job.
And it doesn't even matter like your experience. It's kind of sometimes you just dumbass people be getting these jobs.
Yeah, I think the minimum wage is definitely needs to increase, but also there should just be like an incentive to move beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So people should not be like complacent working entry level jobs. They should try to, build their skill set
Yeah.
and get a better job.
Yeah. It's not that easy, but sure.
Okay. Well,
I agree.
it is and it isn't. So it's like you do or you don't. I mean, you have a skill set that you use to get work. I have a skill set that I've used to get work. It's like we both had to make sacrifices to get there.
Yeah.
You disagree?
No.
You're on your high horse?
No.
You
I'm not on my high
guys
horse.
can't see her, but she's on her high horse right now.
I'm not on my high horse. I'm just like side eyeing you.
I don't know why.
How do you feel about the 99-cent store closing?
Close it down. Fuck it.
It's sad.
Fuck it. I've only seen people who don't even shop at the 99 cent store. 99 cents are posting about it.
You're ridiculous. You don't even know who's shopped at the 99-cent store, but you're
I don't know.
all of a
I
sudden
could tell.
saying only people that don't shop at the 99-cent store are posting about it. My dad's really sad about it, first of all.
Your dad's not posting about it.
Yeah, but he's upset.
Well,
My
yeah,
mom
he should
said
be.
he's mourning.
He's mourning.
He loves the 99-cent store.
That's his spot. It's his jam.
I like the 99-cent store too. It's really sad.
I used to get a lot of snacks there.
Yeah. Well, some people actually ate groceries from there,
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I've taken some cans. Not stolen.
Taken the can?
No.
You stole from them?
I mean, possibly, but no, not like cans. But I've bought some like tuna and stuff like that. They have good canned food.
Yeah, they do.
It's a sad thing.
It's a survivability thing. It's like it's good for people just trying to make it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're taking away a resource, basically.
Basically, it's kind of sad what our world is coming to.
Nothing's 99 cents anymore. There's no dollar menu.
Yeah.
So it's like they can't even afford to keep the 99 cent store, a 99 cent store.
Because everything's so expensive.
Yeah.
So
Has to be 5 and below now. The new 99.
sad. And they kept the same colors as like Bed Bath and Beyond.
5 below? It's a weird store. There's nothing useful in there.
I've only been in there once, and that was at the one in Alhambra.
It's all like novelty shit. Like there's nothing like. There's a few things I guess that you could use. Yeah, there's some stuff, but I mean, there's a lot of also bullshit in there that you could waste money on.
Below.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
Yeah, rest in peace, 99 cent store. Like, what are people gonna do? Go to the liquor store? Can't even go to the liquor store.
Why?
It's expensive.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna give the kids $20, and they're taking away the dollar store.
Yeah, times are changing.
Times are changing.
Kind of sad.
It is pretty sad.
Yeah, I don't like it.
What are we supposed to do?
I don't know. We can't do anything. We're stuck.
Can't do nothing. Is this just LA where it sucks like this? No, it's everywhere.
I guess it is everywhere.
All over the country.
Yeah.
It's just expensive.
Yeah.
Depressing episode.
This is a depressing episode. I just feel like, yeah.
You feel like what?
I just feel like it's just like it's been like kind of sad. Also, just like I was mentioning, just watching like that Nickelodeon thing was like a sad thing.
It's the end of eras.
It just feels like everything in my life has been destroyed.
Fuck. Yeah.
My childhood is now just like robbed because there's all these sexual predators. Just fucking
they tainted
ruined all of like
our childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can't have nothing. They take everything from us.
And, we can't have a house.
It's crazy to think like we can't get anything.
Yeah.
Can't get anywhere.
Can't. Yeah, you really can't.
We have to like work 3 times as hard.
More than 3 times.
Yeah, work 17 times as hard.
I've worked my ass off just to get to this point, and I still feel like I don't have anything.
Yeah, it's tough.
Although I'm grateful and I'm privileged for the things that I have, like, it doesn't feel like I'm like struggling, but it still feels like it's not enough or it's not where I should be.
I just don't know how people do it, to be honest. Like, I feel like people get an upper hand in some way and aren't honest about it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of generational wealth that people don't talk about.
Like,
they don't talk about like inheriting their parents' house. They don't talk about
businesses or
selling their parents' house, and then that's how they get money, and then they can invest in shit. Like nobody talks about that stuff because everyone wants to make it look like they struggled and like they started from the bottom, and like most people that have like things like that don't start from the bottom.
The only people I know our age, like I grew up with, that have a house are people that are like doctors, which is like that's gonna happen, right? If you make the sacrifice to be in school for a fucking decade, they'll pay off at some point, right? And for those people I know, like it's barely paying off. And then the other people who are like succeeding, they either moved really far away or they inherited a business or property.
Yeah.
Or their family like owns a business and they work for the business and they're like reaping the benefits as an adult of working in an established business, So like everyone else is just struggling.
A lot of it is generational, like just passed down and handed to people. Not saying that people don't work hard, but I'm just saying that a lot of things are like easier when people are offering it to you,
They're just like fortunate enough to get the connection, like the leverage of like the pre-generational work.
People looking out for their offspring, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like it's what you would want to do, right? Is like watch out for your kids.
Yeah, I tell my mom that too. She's like, like I get it. Her and my dad want to just like live their life. They've worked and everything, especially her. But it's also like
leave something for you guys.
Can you look out for me and my brother too? Because like you guys are kind of
selfish if you do that.
You guys are not going to set us up.
Yeah, you're actually going to make it much harder
if you leave behind like
just because you want to like go do your thing. It's like, why did you have kids then?
Yeah.
Like, why did you?
I know that sounds like bratty to say, but
I don't think so.
And I don't think I'm explaining enough detail, but like, it's just like,
I think people who are listening understand that what you're saying. If they know like what it's like to have a family that owns something, and then for them to be
my parents don't own their house, like, that's why I'm saying like,
but they will eventually.
They won't. They actually won't own that house.
Well, you guys
which is like really annoying, but that's a lot of bad decisions on my dad's end. So they won't own that house.
Shout out our dads. They're bad decisions.
And it's just like, I don't know. Me and my brother are kind of left with, hopefully they make the right decisions for us.
What can they do?
I don't know. You
You
can
know,
do a lot of fucked up
leave the
things.
bills to you.
I don't know.
That's it. That's like not even helping, actually. So it's too late.
So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
I think there's nothing worse, than to inherit more problems.
Right?
Because if you're not setting your kids up to succeed, then you're passing down problems to them.
Yeah.
The same problems you had. Like my parents,
You're like maintaining that cycle of poverty.
Poverty and struggle. Like my parents had a home in a nice area where it would have appreciated, and they fucking sold it because they got divorced. Someone could have just held on to it.
Yeah.
You know? Now my sister and I are going to inherit nothing.
Yeah.
And they're both, struggling for it. So it's like, well, now back to square one. You guys wasted like a decade of investment and work because you guys wanted to spite each other,
Yeah, and that's the sad part of divorce is that people just want to spite each other.
People are petty, and it's like, well, you shouldn't have kids if you're going to make decisions that only affect you.
That's true.
If you think it's just going to not only affect you, if you're only going to make decisions that benefit you, and in the long run, they don't even benefit you, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
because in the long run, like, your parents are still pretty close. They live really close to each other.
Yeah, it's so stupid. They live in the same city now. They didn't. They divorced. They moved in different cities. Now they live in the same city.
And they're, like, still friends.
And they're still friends. So it's like, you guys are actually dumb. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of tough to decide, like, what to do next. And, like, I don't want to say, like, this economy, because people say that all the time. They say this economy. Like, what does that even mean, this economy? Like, is it just... I feel like it's not even the economy. I feel like it's inflation. I feel like it's like...
That's the economy.
Yeah, but it's like... The economy itself is fine. Like, people buy things. People are selling things. Like, trade is fine. But in terms of, like, wages... In terms of like,
that's still part of the economy.
I guess. Yeah. I don't know. What is the economy?
Like the overall like spending.
Anything with money?
Yeah.
Well, then fuck the economy. You're like, less the economy. Fuck. Well, I just feel like stuck sometimes because it's like you have to like really find your way, like loopholes basically, like we're saying about connections. Like if you want to get a better job, you have to know somebody or meet somebody.
Yeah, that's true.
And otherwise you're like not going to get your foot in the door. You have to have something extraordinary, and it's like not every single person can be extraordinary.
True.
And this whole like influencer mentality that happens now these days is like there's all these people on Instagram like just do this and do that and like stop being a bitch, like
those are the people that try to sell their classes.
They sell their classes and shit, and it's like
it's like even more of a scam.
And it's more of a scam, or it's just like unrealistic. It's like
no, it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, not everyone is gonna be like that. It's gonna be this like personality.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but it's like a lot of people are not gonna shine. They're not gonna have something that sets them apart from others. Yeah. They're just going to have their work experience and, whatever grind they have.
It is kind of crazy that we've come to this point in our lifetime where everyone thinks they're special.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks they're like an entrepreneur. And unfortunately, that's not the case for everybody.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who
not everybody can be a boss, honestly.
No.
Not everybody should be a boss, because if that was the case, then it would be worse. But some people just need to accept that, like, having a normal job is fine. You don't have to be a boss,
Yeah, you don't have to be a business owner or an entrepreneur or an influencer on social media. Like, I mean, you could do your own thing, but it's like,
I just feel like it's like right now, especially in social media, there's a lot of influencers that are pushing like be your own boss, make this and have your own schedule. And like, yeah, that's nice, but some people actually need structure. You need structure.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people need that structure. So being a boss might not even work out,
Yeah. It's hard.
So I'm just saying, like, being a boss is cool, but I'm sure like being an employee is also fine too.
Yeah,
Not everyone.
sucks.
Yeah, and maybe you're not that special, you know?
Yeah, maybe you're not.
Like maybe my podcast is not that special and it's fine.
I like your podcast, even though you're mean to me on it.
I'm not mean to
You're
you.
rude.
Why are you talking so far? I hate how far
Even
you're
though
talking from the mic. It's like driving me nuts. I know this is gonna sound like shit,
I'm talking pretty loud.
but you're like over here and you're like, why are you being mean to me?
Why are you mean to me?
So
Stop being mean to me.
I'm not being mean to you though. I'm just
fucking
honest
around.
with you. I always keep it real with you. Keep it creamy.
Yeah.
Keep it 100.
Keep it 100. Your podcast is special.
To me.
Even though you pissed me off.
My podcast is special to me and you.
Yeah. To you.
And to the little circle that I have.
Yeah. I think things are worth the time and investment and effort. Like,
but I don't know. What if it's not special?
well, I don't know. That's up to you to decide.
That's fine, but that's up for everybody else to decide if they're special or not. And then, you know what? We were talking about mediocre people, and I feel like we haven't gone off on that enough.
It doesn't have to be special. Not everything has to be special. I think that's the problem. Is that everyone thinks like what
everyone
they do
thinks they're funny.
What they do has to be special. It has to be funny. It has to be this and that. It's like, why can't it just be
you?
Entertaining, informational? Like, why can't it like? I like what you're doing because you're not trying too hard to be something you're not. You're just providing information and asking questions and doing something that a lot of people are afraid to just do, which is like have a platform with people where you just want to ask them the truth.
Yeah.
Provide.
Well, my thing is like I would like people to feel like they can connect.
Yeah.
To whichever episode, and I would like people to feel like that's relatable. Maybe whatever they're hearing is relatable and that they're not alone. And I would like people to feel inspired. So those are my goals in all of this.
It's like journalism.
Sure.
You know, where it's like journalism's not always going to be subjectively like it's subjective, so it's not always going to be an objectively special thing. It's always going to, if it's done correctly, it's going to be informational and it's going to be, you know, like a documentation of like truth.
Right.
You know, and like you just said, the whole mediocre thing, like mediocrity is kind of just, it's pushed because like, first of all, when things are the incentive is to create content, you will take shortcuts to make
as fast as you can.
As fast as you can. So like, I see it all the time, like especially in our own, like we're Latino, and I see a lot of like bullshit, mediocre Latino stuff being pushed.
Yeah.
Different content creators, like I see like they like are promoting these like bullshit rappers. They're like they can't even speak. These guys can't even speak correctly, and they sound stupid and they look dumb. And it's like, this is what we're promoting. This dude that has like all these dumbass tattoos on his face, like nothing's even like artistic or cool. It's just like he's just like some dude from a gang in like West Covina. This is a rapper that you want to promote.
Yeah.
Or I saw them the Almani, like there's like SGV Almani or some shit like that, posting about these two rappers from Almani, and they're just a bunch of fucking Edgars. Rapping about shit that's like they probably have never done. Like this is like I don't know, they're getting a platform, and it's kind of like annoying because mediocrity just gets pushed forward because if you do anything, you're like special. And that's not the case.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, another thing is to like a lot of people jump into this like bandwagon of like categorizing themselves without entirely being who they are. Mm-hmm. So, for example, like I'm Latina, but I also don't feel like I need to like entirely use that as like my crutch.
Yeah, it's not your selling point.
It isn't. Because like my parents are both from Mexico, which makes me like first generation and everything. But I just feel like I don't heavily need to rely on it, although it was a lot of my upbringing. Like a lot of my upbringing is very cultural, and you know, I relate to a lot of the cultural things that a lot of people have experienced in like a Latino household.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I need to keep relying on that to be like to make this podcast.
Well, yeah, because
If
it's
that makes
not it's
sense.
not the only thing that's special about you. It's just one
Because
facet
I
of
feel like a
of your
lot of
life.
people kind of mess up with their platforms when they do that.
Yeah, they lean too heavily on their identity. And
Yeah.
it's like your identity,
Isn't always just like,
yeah,
like
it shouldn't be a selling point. And that tells me, I mean, personally,
it
my
is
opinion,
you, but it's also not all of you.
yeah, like personally, my opinion of it is when I see that, is that you have nothing else to provide. There's nothing else of value that you have to say other than your identity, and that's how you're selling to people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like cheap.
Yeah.
It's
I
cheap
kind of think so.
because like there's nothing else. So the only reason someone should listen to you is because you're like them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people like you, a lot of people like everyone else.
Yeah. And I don't get me wrong, because it's also like I think there needs to be spaces for people
Of
for like
course.
those types of people, or to invite like,
I think it should come
people
after the
like that.
fact. It
But I don't
shouldn't it
think you
shouldn't
should
start.
just like sell yourself based off of that.
I don't think it should be like the starting point. It should be it should be after that. It should be
Yeah.
like, for instance, like you just said, you're first generation Latina and you have this podcast where you're doing journalistic things. You're also doing like casual things like this where we just talk.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone were to be like, I want to, like gather all the Latino creators,
Mm-hmm.
the content creators in LA County, and they were to include you, that's different because
Yeah.
it is part of your identity, but it's not how you're selling your content.
Yeah.
So that is a separate thing. It's like you should be like, I don't know. People shouldn't aspire to just be successful based off their identity alone because that's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, you're kind of just like
Being mediocre.
you're inviting mediocrity, and you're also pushing mediocrity because you're not pushing anything else. Like there's no like
I
unique
also think it's like
perspective.
harder to be consistent with that. I
With
think
with what?
with being just like relying on, for example,
Oh
just
yeah,
like being a Latino
because it gets
person.
old, right?
Because then it gets old. Like
Yeah.
that's what happened to George Lopez.
Yeah,
He relied like heavily on just like his culture, which is fine. We all loved it. But it's like then it's like what other material does he have? And he kind of got stuck.
it's true. It's true. It's like if you homogenize too much, the quality dilutes. Like you can only find, for instance, so many successful, funny, entertaining Latino people. So like after a while, you're gonna just be like, oh, I need to push something out. So you're gonna have any fucking Latino person who says they create something, and it's like, so you're gonna have some dude that has like 200 followers who's like been doing this for so long and gets nowhere. Instead of inviting someone who's like Asian and has like hundreds of thousands of followers and they're actually doing something positive and they're
I actually
talented.
heard or read or seen something about the following count. And it's like saying how nowadays like followers actually don't matter.
Yeah,
It's actually about like your views and like who's liking
that's
your
true.
content. And that's actually what matters more than your following, because you can see on some people will have like thousands and thousands of followers
And no views.
That's
true.
Or they'll have like nobody liking their shit, nobody interacting with their shit.
That's true.
And so like a lot of those followers are actually ghost followers.
Ooh, bots.
Or bots.
X-bots. Yeah, that's actually true. Well, then let me change that. So it's like, would you rather have someone who has no views but they're just Latino?
And that actually happened with me and Johan when we were doing our events. Like, I don't want to put people on blast, but we reached out to some musicians that had
some DJs.
No, so they had big followings, and we thought like that would help us with selling tickets. And
yeah,
sure enough, like nobody came to see those people.
Yeah, they don't have the pull that they make it seem they have.
Yeah. So it's wild that like people are still like heavily like putting following as like the forefront of like.
Yeah. Well, it used to mean something. That's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before the algorithm changed to like reels and videos and views.
It used to mean something.
Yeah.
I guess for a while it hasn't actually really meant anything.
That's true. Okay, so then let's reframe that. So it's like, would you rather have someone who doesn't have those views, but their their identity matches yours, or would you rather host someone who actually says something like of substance that provides entertaining qualities,
Yeah.
like if you homogenize, then you're just promoting mediocrity, and then it's like how are you it's ironic because how are you supposed to actually elevate your culture and your identity if all you're
Right.
doing is surrounding yourself with and inviting mediocrity? Like
Yeah.
if you're not promoting, like George Lopez, don't get me wrong, like that's fucked up that he didn't want to promote other Latino artists.
Hmm.
But in the same sense, what was he supposed to do? Invite every single whack ass artist that he knows? Like, let's say,
Especially during his time period, I would
yeah,
say like I understand where he's coming from, and I don't care if it sounds like I'm defending him, but I do try to understand where people come from. And during that time, I understand
it was just
it
him
was more competitive to be,
to be the Latino comedian. Yeah,
yeah.
there was only so
Like
many
he was
people.
basically a token for a lot of things,
Yeah,
and like when you're the token, you're kind of trying to hold on to that
like him and
token.
Paul Rodriguez are like the main
Oh
ones
my
at that
god,
time.
we saw Paul Rodriguez. It was
We
terrible.
saw him; he was drunk.
And talking about like rape shit. It was kind
He
of
was talking
weird.
about some real
He was talking
cringe
about
shit.
drugging women.
Yeah, he
Oh
was being real
god.
cringe. Well, that's why he was performing in La Puente. George
At the
Lopez is
fucking
not.
flea market.
Yeah,
Oh god.
yeah, that was sad. So that's what happens though. Like when you're just like encouraging the mediocrity, and yeah, I see it happen a lot in our community. I
Yeah.
won't lie, I see it happen in the black community a lot too. Like they'll just promote anything that's just like because it's black, and
Yeah.
the same thing happens with us. Like we just promote something because it's Latino, and it's like
Well, I
that's
mean,
not
I
good
guess
enough reason.
everyone does that too, but it's just white people have the power and the finances to promote their mediocrity, and
Well,
it's
it's just
like
they're a little bit
unfair.
more. Ironically enough, they're just a little bit more like diverse in that they all don't homogenize because they're all different white people.
Well, because they don't have to
They don't.
rely on that.
Yeah, and the only thing that ties them together is their race, not their culture. They don't have a
They don't
culture.
have a culture, but
Yeah,
exactly, so like they don't feel like, well, I don't need to rely on this. It's just that my dad has a friend who was hiring
and they're all
a,
white. That's it. They just
and
happen to all be
yeah,
white.
we did. No, they just happen to be white. They
Yeah,
like purposely
yeah.
try to
Well,
steal.
they're afraid of they're afraid of the dark.
But yeah, so it's just like it kind of like makes us take some steps back in that sense where we're just hanging on and clutching onto or just like the one thing that like keeps us together.
It's
Because then
identity.
how are other cultures supposed to like find us like entertaining, or how are other cultures supposed to really like us, or like, and it's not about like people pleasing in that sense, but like, yeah, how are you supposed to elevate yourself when other cultures or other people like can't relate or can't even care about like what you're saying
Yeah,
in that sense.
yeah. I think it's about like narrowing down a unique perspective and like unique qualities that set you apart. Like it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm Latino and that's it, and now
Because like I
look
would
at my
say
shit.
like Joe Coy like hangs on to his culture a lot, but he also expands with like what he's experienced in his life. So he can also touch people like our age and a little
You
bit
can
of
touch
people.
them.
No, I mean like make
What?
make people relate, other demographics, in the sense where he's talking about like, oh, like what it's like to be in a relationship, or like what it's like to be divorced and have a baby mama. Like he talks about his whole experience, not just as just
As a
staying on the
Filipino,
Filipino thing.
it just comes from the perspective of him being Filipino, and he
He
shares stories about his upbringing being
Yeah,
Filipino. That's entertaining.
but it's also just like not even just that, it's
Yeah,
also like other factors of his life that
yeah.
he's sharing.
He's just a Filipino man sharing
Yeah.
stories,
Yeah.
and so naturally,
So that's why
you're
his
gonna hear his
his
Filipino
his
stories.
audience is like a little more, is more range there. I
Yeah,
would say a lot of Filipino love him. Obviously, they're
well, yeah,
very
because they're
supportive.
proud of him.
But I think like Latinos love him too, and like
I think he has a diverse audience. Yeah,
I think so too.
because he's not just like you said. He's not just. It's not like George Lopez where he's just like only talking about things that if you're Latino you can relate to.
Yeah,
He's Joe Coy's talking about his whole life from the perspective of being a Filipino man.
yeah, and I think those are differences, and it just applies with all people with platforms and stuff in
Yeah,
that sense. where if you're a content creator, don't just like heavily rely on that, because in the long run, I don't think you can hold on to that for too long.
Well, what are you going to talk about after a certain point?
Exactly. Like, you can't be as consistent when you're just like clutching onto just that one thing about you.
Yeah, you're just going to be like, everything's going to be like this. You're going to start talking with an accent. It's like
Yeah.
that you don't even have, you know, like.
Another thing before it, because I have to leave soon, but I just wanted to bring up J-Lo because I saw
Oh
like
god.
people just keep talking shit about
I
her,
heard she's always trying to bring back the Bronx.
and she's always trying to bring back the Bronx, and she doesn't support her community and everything. But one thing I wanted to say is Latinos are so good at talking shit,
Ooh.
and they're so good at like hating on other Latinos.
Yeah.
And it's like we shouldn't be doing that, and we should stop spending so much fucking time on hating and actually like supporting the people that are opening doors or like doing good for the community. And that's what's pissing me off, is that I've seen so many fucking gay guys post videos about how toxic JLo is and how much like they hate her and she's such a bad person. But it's like, why are you spending so much time talking shit about JLo as a Latino man? And go fucking do something for your community.
It's kind of annoying because it's like, why are you even highlighting her? She
Yeah.
doesn't do anything for Latinos. So, like, why is she even in the conversation?
I mean,
Why are we giving her attention at all?
it is what it is. I still like J-Lo. I love Selena. Like,
Well, yeah, I
good
like
movie.
physically, I like her. Like, she can't sing.
And also, it's like, she was one of the first female Latinas
On TV.
in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Regardless if she's like a shitty person and not,
her as a person is separate.
Giving back to her community, but what she's done,
yeah,
I feel like
what she's done
to me.
and accomplished as a Latina,
Yeah,
is important.
That matters to me.
It's just the benchmark of what that means, right?
Yeah.
For our culture, like the fact that someone like her did it, made it happen. That's important.
That's important.
Now, her and the things she says now, like, why? Like, okay, care less.
She should probably just retire.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll go ahead and end here. That was just my quick rant.
Yeah, just quick rants.
Okay.
This is another quick rant for you.
Okay. Bye.